Recently, a number of military media into the Chinese naval forces interviews, incidentally also some of the Chinese Navy's newest installed combat ships to the exposure. For example, on January the 5th, the Central Radio and Television Administration, CCTV's, military report, a report on a destroyer detachment of the Navy in the Eastern Theater of Operations, ETO, disclosed that a certain depth-improved version of the 052D destroyer had already been inducted into the department. The ship is said to be outfitted from the launch to the official entry into the ranks, before and after just over a year, proving that the 052D destroyer from manufacturing to outfitting to take over the ship, the process has been highly mature. Doing a little math, the Chinese Navy has already installed 25 Type 052D destroyers by 2022, starting in 2014 with the first ship, the No. 172 Kunming, and in 2022, a new batch of 052D destroyers and continue to appear in the shipyard on the ship platform. In addition to 2023, temporarily no 052D destroyers installed troops, 2024 once again appeared, 052D destroyers installed troops news. In just 10 years, there may have been 27 or 88 destroyers installed in the Chinese Navy, with an average of 2 to 3 ships installed each year. This rate of installation compared to the 1990s, the U.S. Navy's peak period of installation of the Burke-class destroyer speed, there is a gap. But compared to this century, Burke-class service speed has been no less than. At the same time, in 10 years, the 052D destroyer also developed a number of improvements. The development of a large family of air defense destroyers from the 052D destroyer development trajectory, similar to the Burke-class destroyer from Block 1 to Block 2 development. 052D destroyer also developed a number of subtypes. In addition to the key ship electrical system, an armament system gap is not large. In the subsystems there are subtle differences. For example, the earliest few Type 052D destroyers with LJG346A radar were also equipped with an antenna pole at the bottom for conducting near-field tests, which is relatively similar to the design of Type 052C destroyers. However, compared with the far-field test, the near-field test will bring larger testing errors due to the multipath effect, and its testing effect is not as good as the far-field test. Therefore, Type 052D destroyers equipped with a near-field test antenna on the LJG346A radar were cancelled after maintaining only a single-digit number of ships. All subsequent Type 052D destroyers have not been equipped with a near-field test antenna, but have been replaced with far-field testing or other means of testing. After the elimination of the near-field test antenna for the LJG346A radar, the Type 052D destroyer's close-in defense weapon system was also updated. The original PJ-12 7-barrel 30mm subgun, similar to the one used on the Type 052B C destroyers, despite its good performance, was not interesting enough to be used against anti-ship missiles skimming the sea at 3 times the speed of sound. Therefore, they were first replaced with the more powerful PJ-11 11-barrel 30mm secondary gun, which has greatly improved their ability to counter supersonic sea-skimming anti-ship missiles at close range. These two batches of 052D destroyers can be regarded as the early version of 052D destroyers, similar to the U.S. Navy's Burke Block I from the 14th ship of the 052D destroyer. A more improved version began to appear, which is jokingly called the 052D Plus version by military fans. Compared to the previous 052D, the 052D Plus, or 052DG, is much more improved. First, the helicopter flight deck has been lengthened, making the ship look slimmer and longer, and the height of the helicopter hangar has been lowered, which is undoubtedly for the compatibility of the subsequent D-20 naval helicopters. Secondly, the distant warning radar located amidships has been improved by replacing the original distant warning radar with a Yagi antenna, with a new type of long-wave radar using a cage antenna. This type of radar has low power consumption, and is suitable for continuous airborne alert when the LJG346A radar is not switched on. Meanwhile, it has better surveillance and interception capability for low detectable targets. Due to the use of new digital algorithms, as a meter-wave radar, its detection accuracy is also greatly improved, and it can satisfy the needs of precision range and angle measurement of the target. In addition to the improved air operations system and distant warning radar, the new 052D Plus version of the destroyer also has improvements in the combat system software, hardware. This improvement is similar to the U.S. Navy's Aegis system to implement the baseline improvement, although the specific path of improvement is not clear, but the use of computers with faster computing speed, combat software features more is inevitable. These 052D destroyers' performance can be said to be similar to the US Navy's Burke-class Block I type, the latest version of the Type 052D destroyer, which we will see at the end of this year, is the Type 052D destroyer from the 26th ship, and there are new technical improvements. From the supporting subsystems, the hull design of these Type 052D destroyers is no different from that of the Type 052D+, and there is no difference in the ship's surface armament, but the fast countermeasures radar located at the top of the mast has been adjusted. The original 052D uses a fast counter radar similar to the 052B, C and 051B, all of which are a certain type of fast counter radar using a spherical radome and parabolic antenna, which is clearly deficient in dealing with sea-skimming low detectability targets. Therefore, from the 26th ship onwards, we can see that the 052D has replaced a certain phased array antenna fast countermeasures radar similar to that on the 075 and 054B, which improves the interception capability of sea-skimming, light and small, and low detectability targets. Of course, there are also certain technical improvements in other shipboard subsystems. These Type 052D destroyers are, in our opinion, similar to the U.S. Navy's newer Burke-class Block II 50 Todd destroyer from 2014 to 2024, has gone through a 10-year history. As to why the Chinese Navy in this 10-year period did not develop a new generation of ship platform, but continue to use the 052 destroyer this platform, the most critical factor we think, mainly in this 6,000-ton hull platform design is very reliable, the overall performance is more balanced, suitable for a large number of construction equipment. After all, although the normal displacement of 052D is 7,000 tons, but it should have, from the 4 large active phased array radar, to large general-purpose vertical launch system, to the towed composite sonar array, basically anti-aircraft, anti-ship, anti-submarine multifaceted set of all complete. Such a good surface ship, the cost is also very cheap. Construction, equipment, combat effectiveness of the cycle are in line with the Chinese Navy, needs to rapidly expand the objective needs of the armed forces can be used. In other words, this is an extremely cost-effective surface ship, and the Chinese Navy in the construction of 25 052D destroyers. A little pause and start building a new 052D, and the new 052D only made a slight technical improvement. It seems to prove that the Chinese Navy's prioritization of the need for further expanding the scale of existing equipment, ensuring that existing equipment can be quickly formed into combat power, and pulling out when able to fight, overrides the sophistication of the equipment. Therefore, we in the coming period is expected to see more 052D destroyers from the shipyard fish out, equipped to the Chinese Navy. So, where might the next generation of destroyers for the Chinese Navy be? In fact, in the case of Type 052D destroyers and 055 large destroyers, are quite good with each other, enough to meet the needs of the next 5 to 10 years of maritime confrontation. You say that the Chinese Navy on the new generation of 7,000-ton destroyer platform, how high the demand for the personnel rather feel not so urgent. After all, even the U.S. Navy's own next-generation destroyer DDGX scheduled to have to wait until 2032 to show up, and according to the current dragging behavior, do not know when to wait until, when to show up from the scheduled to show up to really show up. And now the U.S. Navy's main, Burke II, is plagued by a lack of energy to suffer the plague of so look, 052D destroyer for the Chinese Navy, the vitality is still quite strong. As for what the next generation of destroyers may be like, or power systems lead the way. At present, the 052D destroyer equipped with a power pack, or 25 megawatt class GT 25,000 gas turbine, plus 2 diesel engines, diesel-fueled alternating power, the maximum power of 50 megawatts to promote the 7,000-ton hull. This system has been dug to the limit to further expand the tonnage. The installation of more powerful phased array radar, the use of integrated power system, the gas turbine must be replaced. For example, if the gas turbine is replaced with the most powerful 40 MW gas turbine, even if it is not equipped with cruise diesel engine, it can still achieve 80 MW power, and if it is equipped with auxiliary engine, the power of the whole ship can achieve about 90 MW. In this way, not only can ensure that the 8,000-ton ship to run to more than 30 knots, but also to ensure that the ship's integrated power system at the same time to ensure that the phased array radar and other power-consuming use of the ship's major users. In this way, we can get a hull design stronger than the U.S. Navy's Burke-class The overall cost-effective better than the U.S. Navy's Burke class, and run faster than the Burke class. The use of the ship's electrical system restrictions than the Burke class more relaxed air defense destroyer. By that time, many military enthusiasts read at least 4 or 5 years of 8,000-ton destroyer will appear. With this destroyer cost-effective, there is a certain possibility that it will become the real heir to the 052D destroyer, the Chinese Navy's next generation of cost-effective king. As for when this type of destroyer appears, personal opinion, or not earlier than 2030, as the Chinese Navy's fourth generation of affordable models of air defense destroyer debut, after the emergence of the first to replace the first few 052B and 052C in service at the beginning of this century. Of course, from the present point of view, we still say that everything is aimed at rapidly expanding the scale of the Chinese Navy's surface ships, rapidly improving the combat capability of the Chinese Navy's surface ship force, and preparing for the military struggle that may break out at any time in the coming period. This means that, in a long time to come, the 052D destroyer will still be the main character of the Chinese naval destroyer fleet in the eyes of military fans, and the scale will also be expanded.